people always want to look at the offense isn't doing enough, right? That's always the point. In this case specifically, the offense did their job. There's those other key parts that we're going to dive into that continues to be a recurring theme for Baltimore.
Yeah, that fourth quarter is the recurring theme, and Dallas was able to just take the ball down the field on this Ravens defense, and it was a mistake here, a mistake there. It all started off on special teams, which we're going to get into more, but this Dallas offense was able to go the fourth quarter possessions, 3 touchdowns for them, 6 plays, 64 yards in a minute 48. And then you have 7 plays, 56 yards a minute 46, 11 plays, 91 yards in 2 minutes, 33 seconds. They were just going down the field at will. The Ravens defense could do nothing to stop them. It was such a change in tune from those first 3 quarters.
Well, let's go to the special teams here, Q, because all eyes have been on Justin Tucker. It's been a little bit uncharacteristic for him to start this season.
Well, I think it's a momentum shift. And when we talk about those momentum shifts, fourth quarter, all those things, it could be a momentum boost, a padding of the stats, the 46-yard field goal, something that is well within Justin's range, but you can see right here, right there, pause it. Justin Tucker, one of the things that makes him the GOAT is the fact that his technique is flawless. He is a straight ball kicker. I think part of the reason why we're seeing this posture and this defeatedness is because his ball, whatever the reason from the technique aspect of things, it's starting to hook. We never saw that before in his game. That's what made him such a reliable kicker.
Yeah, and right now, all 3 misses, by the way, for Justin Tucker have been to the left. That was the one most pulled to the left of the 3. But again, it's a momentum shift. And Q, we're going to roll the tape here. It's okay now to give up underneath routes. And you're going to see it here to start off this drive. All right, underneath route, a lot of area to go. But it was the chunk plays after this and the combination of the defensive line not getting home.
Yeah, I think if you have great coverage, pause it. If you have great coverage and you feel like you got a good shell, you're going to feel like, man, we can not only cover the guys, but we're hoping that, Dak Prescott is going to have some pressure in his face. You see the blitzing off of the edge, go ahead and run it. But you see the fullback pick it up, and it allows Dak just to step up in the pocket. Brandon Stevens, I'm sure he would have loved to have a little bit tighter coverage on that, but unfortunately it didn't happen. Again, pause it right here. This, again, is just a nice cover too. My God, Marcus Williams, you as well as Ardarius Washington both have to be mindful of this area of the football field, that hash wide open, and you're seeing Dak Prescott have all day just to throw. This is pitch and catch. This is a 7-on-7 right here, something that is unacceptable if you're the Baltimore Ravens, and I think that's one of the big things that is going to be looked at when you talk about defensive coordinator Zach Orr trying to clean up some of these second-half mistakes.
Yeah, and talking about with just being unacceptable, we'll dive closer in. But this is a case, hey, mistakes are going to happen. You're not going to make every play. But this is a moment here where you feel like this can happen. Onside kick here, you gave up the touchdown. You're still feeling good. But then the Ravens can't secure the onside kick, especially when you know the onside kick's coming here. Q, just walk us through what happens.
One of the things you talk about is just the turf, and it's going to give you a different bounce than grass. Clearly, from an onside kick aspect of things, the new kick rules, but we also know this is a hands team. You got your guys out there that you know are going to make the play and catch the ball. This is where the ball gets a little squirrely. Zay Flowers, as opposed to attacking it, now you're just in a position where, from a baseball aspect of things, think of it as like a grounder. Man, back in Pee Wee, what did you talk about? You're going to make sure that knee is down, everything is there. Keep it all in front of you and fall and roll on it, as opposed to being overly aggressive and letting it slip through your hands.
And it slipped through. Cowboys get the ball back here, and then it's the same thing that we just saw.
I'll go back. We just real quick go back, because this is what happens. Look at the sideline reaction. I mean, everybody on this sideline is now saying, yeah, we got a chance. That's something where when you make a mistake like that, it continues to give life to the opposing team, and that's something that the Ravens have to deal with and figure out.
And then as we see here, we move forward. Same thing here, and this is another touchdown, but the emphasis here, and Q, you can walk us through, Dak's going to have all the time in the world to deliver another strike and bring Dallas closer.
Yeah, this is something that I think that, when you talk about pocket awareness, pocket presence, and all those things. Pause. My God, man, this right here is bad. This is just as bad as it gets. You're talking about just Dak having all day to scan the field, go where he wants to go, the whole 9 yards. Everyone is just occupied. I mean, this is what you want as an offensive player. This is what you want as a quarterback. You're going to be living large.
And then he's going to find receiver in the end zone.
Yeah, there's just no way. I mean, Darius Washington, of course, he needs to play better than that as far as just his technique. But ultimately, when you don't have pressure, you're going to make pitch and catch throws like that all day.
Well, and then if it's not that, and Kev, this has kind of been for our last play we're breaking down. What are the pass yards for Baltimore, by the way? I'll get back in the screen here. Pass yards allowed so far in the first 3 games of the season.
Yeah, first 3 games of the season, the Ravens currently rank tied for 26th in net yards per attempt, giving up 6.9, but their total yards, 875. That is last in the league by a pretty wide margin. So obviously the secondary has talent, but the numbers haven't necessarily backed that up this season.
Well, and if the numbers, though, it's one thing you have the lead, and yeah, you can give up some pass yards. One thing to make mistakes on as far as, hey, if a guy makes a good play right, Q, you tip your cap.
Yeah.
But it's the miscommunication. And right here, this is probably the biggest example because we've seen this time and time again over the first 3 weeks.
Yeah, and that's the problem. You keep seeing the same thing. And that means that something's going on, whether it be communication from the sideline to the field of play to player, over-communicate, be obnoxious with your communication. That's what they preach. That's what they talk about. Marcus Williams right here now is on the spotlight. Go ahead, pause it real quick because you're talking about 3 receiver side. But now watch. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there's 4 guys on 3. There is no way. Go ahead and roll it. You should have a scenario where you pause, where you got Marlon and Marcus in a scenario where you're going to leave Roquan isolated on 2 guys. Now go ahead and play it. He is doing a great job of pulling these 2 guys out. Now that 1 guy gets behind Roquan Smith for the easiest of touchdowns. There was no pressure in Dak's face, made it very easy for him to throw the football. Miscommunication yet again. This is zone coverage. You got 4 guys on 3 receivers. And again, you're giving up a score because of that miscommunication. Critical error. There's a reason why 19 points were scored in that 4th quarter.
And that's the part here, right? It's the Ravens get the win, Kev. They feel good about that they got the victory, but it just feels like that theme continues. And for teams that need to play catch-up, they feel like they can feast on a defense that, look, the defense is talented. They got all the pieces in the world. But miscommunication at the end of the day is what could haunt the team. And it's not like they don't have some good opponents and good receivers coming on deck, Kev. Josh Allen and co. is coming to Baltimore Sunday night.
Yeah, 1-2 feels a lot better than 0-3, but they're going to have to continue this momentum because at the end of the day, you're exactly right. They have a couple of really good teams that they're going to have to face off against. That Sunday night marquee matchup with the Bills is going to be a big test for them. So I'm glad they at least have some momentum going in, but obviously it felt like Dallas took most of the momentum back in that game, and it feels like for this Ravens team, no lead is safe after what we saw on Sunday.
Well, that's the thing, the reality. It's hard to win the National Football League. You take the wins, you don't apologize for them, but you try to learn from it. And if you learned something from this, shout out to Q. But, hey, hit that like and subscribe button. Go check out Missile Training and missiletraining.com.